Hey there, Founding Champions! Welcome back. It's Scott here with Founding Champions, and I hope you're having an outstanding day so far. I have two more previews for you. They've been spoiled by, revealed by the Competitive Edge, and revealed by PlayFusion. So go ahead and take a look at those websites respectively. First up, we have Fuel the Gravetide, and then second up, we've got Crawlock the Jailor. It's going to be a pretty quick video. It's just that the next one we're going to have, we have 4 cards revealed on November the 8th at 2 p.m. Pacific. So that's about, what, 5 p.m. Eastern? Right? Oh, yeah, sure. So, Fuel the Gravetide. You know, all these cards that they've showed so far, I think that they all get, I really do feel that they all have an A+ in terms of design. I think they put their best design cards forward. Fuel the Gravetide, it really feels so much like death. It feels like, you know, it really goes well with the Grand Alliance. This is like way off. Is that better? Okay. It's familiar, has a very familiar effect if you played a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Magic. Even Pokemon with Gyarados, the one where they have the free stuff because you got Magikarp in the yard. Magic the Gathering because you got Brand and Reanimator effects. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously, what's that? The Tomb thing. It's a spell card that you play and it sends a dude from your deck to your yard. Anyways, it's a very familiar effect. It's a very dark card. And, yeah, let's get right into it. Fuel the Grave. Ability any. Search your deck for three different unit cards and move them to your discard pile. Remember, 3 different unit cards. So it does pay off to have multiple different types. And it also pays off to play it earlier in the game rather than later. Because I can imagine if you're searching through your deck and you can't find 3 different unit cards, you won't be able to complete the effect. It's because it's all in one sentence. So if a rules guru can weigh in on that, that'd be great. And move them to your discard pile to remove a highlighted spell or unit. So it's almost an unconditional removal spell. It really doesn't need much to use this. Obviously, late in the game, you may have that issue where you don't have those cards. I believe to resolve that one sentence effect, you have to do the entire thing. It's not multiple sentences. So, what makes this card good besides it just being a removal spell? I mean, it's a common removal. It's a really good card. What makes it really good is the synergy that can be used with other death cards. And currently, the certain cards that work with this are a lot of death cards that are not that great. So we're gonna go ahead and move to, where am I? Remove act blah 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 blah. Let's see, spell and abilities. All right. Call the Grave, can put them back. Black Hunger, increase the damage and healing from highlighted more. Oh, excuse me. Claws of the Grave. While your last discarded card is a unit. Now this means the top card in your discard pile. It's not like the last one you discarded from your hand. So that did get clarified a long time ago. And the corners here have the effect of that champion's last corner. So you can potentially set up a pretty sick play. Next up we have, let's see, Commanding the Dead. Deploy 1 Risen or Spirit unit from your hand or discard pile into a highlighted champion. So you kill your opponent's unit or spell, and then you essentially tutor. You have more copies of good cards, and then you bring it out with Commanding the Dead. And it's deploy, so you have to use those deploy words. So like the dragon where you discard a card when you deploy, so you'll still have to discard a card. Let's see, nope. Grave Call, deploy up to, I guess, 2 Risen or Spirit units from your discard pile onto highlighted champions. And then we have Return of the Fallen, remove Risen or Spirit units from your discard pile to your hand. So you can see the synergy that removal card has. And that definitely makes these cards better. This is a common, let's see. They're all common, so we're not going to have any real price change. Claws of the Grave is a rare. Claws of the Grave might go up in price We don't know if it's going to be competitive, but if it sees high amounts of casual play, it could go up in price. Next up, we have Crawlock the Jailer. I just want to first off, I want to say that his model is amazing. It's a good model, and it does a lot of damage, and it is powerhouse. But his card, let's dig into it a little bit. So there's a spirit, unique, +1 health modifier, cost 4. Crawlock the Jailer, champion warrior. While all highlighted champions are engaged, highlighted champions cannot rotate. So what's going to happen is, now we don't have any smooth champions, because that would be sick. Like, if there was a smooth champion in competitive play, Crawlock would never see play, because then you just could keep triggering that smooth corner. But we don't have any smooth champions, so we don't have to worry about that. But if they decide to use or utilize all 4 of their lanes, they can no longer rotate their champions for questing purposes. So they need to be playing on 3 lanes. They have to play on just 3 lanes. Unless they are okay with having all their champions no longer rotate. If their champions have already flipped over a lot of blessings and stuff, obviously Crawlock will just be almost vanilla. So now let's think. Now let's say if it was a vanilla card, all right? Let's say it had no effect text whatsoever. This card can turbo rotate. Basically, spirit followed by ability in turn 1, followed by a stacking spirit, and there are I think there's only 1 in existence right now, and it's a good card though. A stacking spirit, followed by another ability. So on turn 2, you could have this completely rotated around. And also, obviously, with Fuel the Grave, you're going to have more abilities, more good abilities as well. So it can rotate fairly quick. This is in the class of turbo rotation. However, it can do it in 2 turns. However, it needs 4 cards. So your hand of 4 or 5 cards needs to be pretty dedicated to get this off in 2 turns. But it isn't in the class of turbo rotation. Competitive play, just currently, I feel like the other 4-cost guy that can rotate off of 2 cards, even though it takes like 4 or 5 turns to do that, but it gives you 2 health, and it has a really good effect that, if you're low on life, you gain life. It's pretty sweet. Crawlock, I don't think he's gonna make it. I think he's very very well designed. I do like him a lot. I think that the flavor of this card, I can feel it through playing the miniatures game. But I don't know if that's gonna be completely competitive. So both of these cards, A+. Absolute A+ in terms of design and that sort of the correct feel of the card. I definitely like it. Competitive play, Fuel the Grave. We're gonna go for maximum. Like this, the card's insane. It just is. If the format's really slow and grindy, obviously Devour is gonna be better because you're gonna slow yourself from getting decked out. So I think that's just pretty much about it with Devour. But Fuel the Grave, good card. Crawlock, outstanding design card. Competitive, nah. He's not going to be a competitive guy. Though certain cards could be released in this set that could potentially make him amazing. I think he will see play, but I don't think that he's going to be in what I would consider the Tier 1 Death deck. I don't think he'll be a Tier 1 Death deck card. That is my prediction. He will see play, just because that effect can be very powerful. It's just that your opponent is going to, more times than not, play around it. They're just going to play around it. And then late game, it's pretty much useless. So, I do want to thank you for watching. Hope you have an outstanding rest of your day. And together, we are 5th Grand Alliance. We are the community. Thank you.